All right, so we're at Scrumpy U, and we're going to start by pruning Porter's Perfection first on B.9 and then on G41. These are tall spindle planting, planted in 2021. So they're in their third leaf, 21, 22, 23. They're going into their fourth leaf, be 2024, right? Correct. And we can see a real difference in the vigor between the two rootstocks, B.9 and then G41. A lot more growth, a lot more pruning is needed on those G41s. Now a tree at this age, we're really still looking to establish tree height, get the tree architecture the way we want it. But now that we're starting to transition into the fruiting period of its life, we also want to make sure that we're leaving enough fruit buds that we're going to start cropping these trees. So it's kind of a balance between increasing some vegetative growth and some fruit for 2024. And we can see really not as much is needed on these B.9s. We'll be looking to take off 1 to 2 of the larger branches, and then on the G41s, we might need to do a little bit more correction. The key is, of course, that we want to be minimal in our pruning. We want to make sure that we're not overdoing it and overcorrecting in any given year. So pruning is a long-term process, and you have an opportunity to do it every year. So some of the easy things on this tree here right off the bat, we want to make sure to have a single leader and not two. So we're going to take off that co-dominant leader. And then also this one here, we're going to take off there. We're typically looking for branches that are half the diameter of the main trunk or larger as being too vigorous in a tree like this, or that are shading out other parts of the tree. So here, we'll come under here, we're going to do what's called a bevel cut. And we're going to leave a stub here of about 1.5 inches long at the top and a little bit longer at the bottom. And the idea here is to have some new branches come out, some of these latent buds to break under there. So the other branch I'm probably going to take out is this one up here. Again, probably being too dominant. We'd really love for this branch to get above this wire by 2 feet. So it looks like it had about 1.5 feet of growth last year. I would love for that to have another 1.5 feet of growth this year. So we're going to take off this branch too. Again, a bevel cut and take that out. Probably going to leave it like that. There's some branches I'd probably take off for next year, but some of these long branches we can also bend under the wire like that, and that'll totally de-invigorate that branch and cause some fruit buds to form in here. So tree 2, again, same thing. Looking at this whole thing, we're going to be taking out 1 or 2 of the bigger branches, and then also taking away anything that looks like it's going to be co-dominant with the leader. In this situation, they're pretty similar, so it's going to make a choice here. Take off that one, take off that little guy, clean up that cut there a little bit. I'm going to take off this one here that's getting a little too vigorous for the top of the tree. And I'm going to be taking off this big branch. They tried to tie this branch down to try to de-invigorate it, have some fruit on here. But in this kind of spacing, it's become too strong. So we're going to have to remove that. Probably should have gotten removed last year. They tried to save it. We're going to make that sacrifice now. There's still plenty of fruiting wood on this tree, and we'll allow some more sunlight. So we're always in a spindle system thinking about regrowing the branches. Here's another branch here. It's got, it's coming off, it's splitting and forking here. We're going to simplify this branch. We're going to take off that one there. And we can take this and bring it underneath there. And that'll be a nice fruiting bud. We can probably shorten that up next year. Okay, this is the last B.9 tree in the row. Again, we're going to take off the co-dominant leaders here. Again, we're trying to get this leader here to be another 2+ feet tall. We're going to take off this one on the side. Around that little guy that might have fruit bud on it. Leaving a stub. And then looking to take off a big branch that might be too competitive with our leader right now. Really important to establish these trees young. Okay, so it leaves a big gap, but that's okay in a spindle system. There's a ton of fruit buds in here. We're not terribly worried about it. We do have this other big branch. This one's small enough. We can probably leave it. It's already nice and flat. We can shorten it up. We'll leave this one for now. Probably get replaced next year, but we'll leave a little bit of fruit on that for this year. Okay.